What's up, you guys? Your girl is back. She is healthy. She is happy. We are back, baby. Thanks to everybody who messaged me asking if I was okay. Here we are, back to business. So I'm not gonna lie, my training is still not that great. So I thought today would be a good day to talk about my kind of journey from day number 1 to where I am now. I mean, like day number 1 of my sort of fitness life. So I'm going to start from where I started kind of getting into the gym, which was actually only a few years ago. And I'm going to talk about how I then got to where I am now as a professional athlete and sort of social media fitness person. We're not going to use the word influencer because I don't like it. So let's go back to 2015. So in 2015, that was the year that I decided I would leave university, and I decided to get a job in a gym, just literally because I needed to earn some money. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really didn't know anything about the gym or training in general, really. The most I'd kind of done was experimented with like leg extensions or like bicep curl machines at my university gym, and I also used to do a lot of treadmill running. Just because I didn't really know anything about like weight training, really. I really knew nothing. So anyway, so I got a qualification as a personal trainer, which took me 6 weeks of like intensive every single day lectures and like exams and things like that. You can do like a really long course, but I just wanted a job, so I paid the money for the fast one, which was like a few £1,000s, but I just figured, well, I'll do that and then I'll make it back pretty quickly, and then at least I'll have a steady stream of income, which will leave me with spare time to figure out what I want to do. So that was my thinking. I was like, I'll be a PT, I don't have to work as many hours to earn as much money as long as I'm doing a good job, and that means that I'm going to have more free time to figure out what to do with my life. So that's what I did. So I started working in a gym in September of 2015, and it was just one of those like big commercial gyms. And I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely loved it. I absolutely thrived on it, and I became so much more interested in the science behind weight training, and I would read everything. I would just learn and learn and learn, and I loved seeing my clients, and I became really, really busy. So during this time, I became more focused on my own training as well. I learned a lot, and because I just started training and I had this sort of abundance of knowledge from all the learning that I'd been doing, my newbie gains were out of this world. And people in the gym were saying to me, oh, do you compete? You should really compete. Telling me that I was made for it and all this stuff. And I was just like, I don't even know what you mean. I had to literally look it up. I didn't know anything about bodybuilding, about being a bikini fitness model or whatever, anything like that. I knew nada. But I love a challenge. Always have, and I kind of thought, well, I love doing new things, I love trying new things and putting myself through challenges and things like that. So it got to about June 2016, and I decided to register for the WBFF European Amateur, which was going to take place in November that year. So I registered in the June, or it might have even been the July, and literally started prep almost immediately. I didn't really have time to build anything, I just had time to cut, so that's what I did. And I didn't have a proper coach, but I did have the guidance of a few people I was close with at the time who knew more than I did. I wouldn't say that they knew as much as they know now or as much as I know now, nowhere close, but they knew more than I knew, so they were kind of guiding me and pointing me in the general direction. It was kind of just for fun. Like that's actually something I really miss. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still fun, right? But that was only for fun. There was no goal. There was no, I want to place, I want to be a pro one day, nothing, literally nothing. So I got on stage in the November of 2016, and I might add that I was entering the category fitness. If you know about categories in the WBFF, then you'll know that I was nowhere near lean enough for this category. I had the right kind of shape, but I would have possibly done better in bikini in this year, but I did have my heart set on the fitness category. And I placed 6th in Europe as an amateur, and I loved it. Like, I just absolutely loved it. I don't know what it was, but as soon as I walked off stage, I was just like, I love this. Like, this is where I am meant to be. So at that moment, I decided I'm gonna get a pro card. Like, that's gonna be my next goal. So the next possible show that I could do was in the May the following year, so May 2017, and this show was actually at Body Power in Birmingham. And this prep just did not go well. Like, I kind of set myself up for this big thing. I was like, right, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be the best, I'm gonna win my pro card, blah blah blah. It was like I put pressure on myself, and then I just fucking didn't follow through. I wasn't dedicated enough. I was making excuses for myself because there was a lot of shit going on in my like external life that I kind of wouldn't make justifications to not do my cardio or to have a cookie here and there. You know what I mean? Like, things like that. So I actually ended up going to this show and placing 6th again, and I was livid. I mean, I didn't stay angry for very long. It's not in my nature to. I just kind of had a minute. I think I even had a bit of a cry backstage, and then I was just like, right, we are gonna get back on this train, and we're gonna go get this pro card. So the next show was the November show again, which was the same show that I'd done for my first show. So that was gonna be the November European Amateur again in 2017. I put on a lot of weight after the May show. That wasn't really intentional. It was just because of a lack of understanding of my body, the human body, and how quickly you can actually put on body fat when you're that depleted. So I did put on a lot of weight very quickly, but I was training so hard, you guys. Like, I just had this fire like nothing I've ever experienced. I was absolutely smashing out these sessions. I was making gains. I was putting on a lot of body fat, and I ended up being 67 kilos, which to this day is still the heaviest I've ever been in my whole life. And that was where I started my 16-week prep from for the November show. I absolutely hammered it. I was taking no prisoners, and we smashed it, you guys. We literally smashed it. So I went to the November show, and I won my category, and I won my pro card, and I was just so over the moon. I think I didn't even really believe that it had happened for a little while after, but that was just such a huge turning point in my life, because it was like that validation, like, yes, you are good at this. It's hard to believe that you're good at something until somebody gives you something to tell you that you are. That makes sense? So it was around this time that I started getting approached by a lot of companies because I was this new pro. If companies see you as a sort of newcomer into the industry and they think you have potential and they like who you are, if they think that you align with their brand, then that's the perfect time in their eyes to reach out to you, because they're getting you before you've exploded or anything like that, you know what I mean? So I was getting contacted by a lot of companies, and this is something to listen to if you're in the position that I was in then. I didn't say yes to anything. I was just like, I'm gonna hold off from this and I'm gonna see what happens. I had good offers, you guys, like good offers, but I'm such a I'm such a sort of gut instinct person, right? So I always have to go with my gut instinct on things, and I really can't talk myself out of it, but I also can't talk myself into things that my heart doesn't say yes to. So I just waited until that kind of feeling came to me, and I remember getting a call from Mike at Versa Forma, who's now a really good friend of mine. They'd already sent me some of the clothes actually, so I already really loved the products, but I just remember being like, this is the company and these are the people that I belong with. So there you go. So I took that sponsorship deal, and I'm still with them now. And then literally that same month was when USN contacted me, and USN were a company that I have always wanted to work with. I actually remember at Body Power going up to the USN stand and asking, like, how do you become a USN athlete? And like, it's just so funny thinking of that now. And then now I actually work with those people that I asked, and they can remember that, which is really funny. But yeah, obviously, to answer that question now, looking back, like, you have to have something to offer the brand, and at that point I just didn't. I didn't really have my place in my sport yet. I didn't have a big sort of following. Not that big following is everything, but obviously they want somebody who can promote their products. So if you have a very small audience, and it's really hard to do that. So I took the sponsorships with those two companies, and I'm still with both of them now. And I'll also add that it was around the time that I won my pro card that my social media following did start to sort of snowball. I think that the transformation from that prep, because I obviously lost so much and then won my pro card, I think that that transformation just sort of, it went a bit viral actually. I remember seeing that it had like millions and millions of impressions and stuff like that, and just being like, wow, that's crazy. I was also vlogging a lot at this time, so that really helped. Just for those of you who are trying to get a presence out there on social media, there's no time like now. Just start. Just be yourself, because in a saturated world, that's the only thing that gives you an edge. Remember that. So carrying on that story, after I won my pro card, I had to decide where I was going to compete as a pro for the first time, and I decided to compete at the World Championships. Not because I thought I was going to go and win the World Championships, not at all. I just wanted to do that show because, like all of these girls I had looked up to for so long, stand on stage with them. So that's what I did. I prepped, and this was the first time that I prepped with a proper coach. So I worked with Jordan Peters, and he's still my coach now. I do a lot on my own, but I don't work with anyone apart from him. So it's either me or me and him, if that makes sense. Anyway, we smashed it. Like, I got the leanest that I have ever gotten, and I was so happy with my physique. I ended up placing 11th, which was it was so difficult because I just said that I wanted to get a top 10. It wasn't even that I expected a top 10. I just set myself that goal. I was like, right, let's try and get the top 10 in the world. That would be really, really cool. And I came 11th, and I was just like, no, so close. The other thing that made that prep harder and also more sort of driven was the fact that I was being followed by the BBC for like the best part of a year. My training sessions, my meal prep, my high moments, my low moments. They even came to my family home when we had like a family gathering, and it was just a crazy time. Like, I got so used to having these cameras with me all the time, and I became really good friends with the crew and things like that. And it definitely did give me something in my head that pushed me. It pushed me hard, because obviously when people are constantly watching you, it makes you just want to work that bit harder. So that was a hugely successful prep in my eyes. I was gutted with the 11th place. I remember just being like, maybe if I just like posed a little bit better, maybe I would have made that 10th. There's just so many things like going through your head, but it was a great experience. It was actually just the best time ever. Like, the show was in Vegas, and me, my friend Mags, who you'll know if you watch my videos then, and my friend Lindsay. So anyway, we're almost up to the present. After that show in Vegas, I decided to compete in another show the following April. In the WBFF, there are 5 pro shows a year, and one of them's the Worlds. So I decided to compete in April of this year, 2019, so almost a full year after the Worlds, and that show was the US Champs, and they were in Los Angeles. I prepped from New Year, basically, until April 7th, and this was a funny prep for me, like, bad. There was a lot of stuff going on in my family life, the health of close family members of mine, and it was a very, very like emotionally difficult prep, but I didn't let it stop me. It almost did every single day, but I just kept going. I just kept going, because I'm not going to go too much into it because I will definitely just burst into tears, but my dad wasn't very well, and he is just my like number one he's my number one fan, and I just, every day I was just doing it for him. Anyway, so I competed in LA, and I placed third in a pro show. I was so happy, I cannot even explain, especially with all the shit that was going on in my head. Like, I remember just getting called out for 3rd place and being like, no way. I'll also add that those health issues are all in the all clear now. I actually got that news the day of my show. So that was a really good day. Anyway, moving on. Here we are. I have not competed since that day. I was actually meant to compete a few weeks ago in the European Pro Show, and I ended up pulling out of that show because I got so ill. If you saw my last video, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and if you didn't, then long story short, I got really fucking ill, and I just couldn't carry on at that point. So a few of you were asking on Instagram when I put up my last sort of Q&A box, were asking if I am still competing, like, ever, and the answer to that is yes, of course I am. I am not ready to give this up just yet, so stay tuned. I'm not going to tell you when, it's a secret, but you'll find out very, very soon. Lastly, I did also say on my Instagram story that I have a bit of a surprise for you, which I do, and that will be coming really, really soon. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Feel free to leave any comments or questions below, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!